Today we are taking a look at the Lemax Skull River, a classic Spooky Town whitewater ride. Guys, what's up? It is Doug, and welcome to another edition of Spooky Villages. And today I have the classic Lemax Spooky Town piece, Skull River. I'm very excited to talk about this classic amusement park ride. And before I do that, though, I wanted to just talk a little bit about a couple pieces of housekeeping here. First off, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded much in July, guys. Lemax has a delayed shipment of buildings. I'm sure some of you out there who have orders in at different dealers know what I'm talking about. But a bunch of the new buildings have not come in yet. So I have a bunch of buildings that are still supposed to be shipped to me, and I'm really excited to get into them this year. As far as I know, from talking to a dealer friend, early August. So I'm hoping that's when everything comes in. So as soon as they come in, I'm gonna be getting going. But in the meantime, actually, I want to give a huge thank you to my friend and fellow village idiot. If you watch our live shows, Kelly. She's a big collector, and actually, because I had this kind of a dry spot here waiting for some buildings to come out, I actually happened to be due to work in her hometown last week, and she was nice enough to loan me a few pieces out of her collection, a few classic pieces that I've always wanted to talk about on camera, and that I have not. So anyways, for the next little bit here, I've got a few classic Lemax Spooky Town reviews to tide me over till the new stuff comes back in. So big thank you to Kelly. All right, so Skull River. This came out in 2012. This was a Michaels exclusive first, and it was retired in 2018. And there is a price tag. Kelly left one on here, which is interesting to see. So from 2012, this says $109.99 was the retail. So let's assume, back then especially, you could get 40-50% off coupons like nothing. Ah, yes, those were the days. All right, guys, here is the box for Skull River. This is the Michaels exclusive box they used at the time. And I'm not going to do a full unboxing here. I'll show you here, though, what it looks like. This is the old style. For those of you that are newer Spooky Town fans, this is the old style. Hold it in here. The old style styrofoam that Lemax Spooky Town used to use. So let's get it out of the box here. Here is Skull River, guys. I am really excited to talk about this one and have one of these here. So let's go around here. Just do a quick once around. I'll show you what it looks like lit up here in just a moment. And as we go around here, something to note here on, oh, by the way, really quick, power goes in back here, and this right here just turns it on. As we go around here, something I wanted to talk about, I'll be careful here. So this water is interesting. That is a different type of material. It's like a, I'm not really sure. Somebody in the comments will probably know. It's like a resin like material. It's got a little bit of texture to it. It looks really, really good as water, and it has a good feel to it as well, if that makes sense. But it's different. It's a different type of material than that you would normally find in a Lemax Spooky Town house. So fit and finish on this one is really, really good here. Of course, when it starts moving and gets lit up, that's when it really comes alive here. But something to note here too, I think that's interesting on this piece is that, so this is the front of your piece right here, right? Because the power is in the back. I can't think of a lot of pieces like this, but it's one to where actually, if you put this to the front, you'll see what it looks like in a minute. When it's lit up, you're missing a lot of it, because over here, this is like kind of more appropriate, like this, just because if you want the skull that has the lights in here, it looks better. You kind of miss that when it's forward like that. So that's nothing major or interesting. It's not even really a negative. It's just something that's interesting to me because you don't really see that in a lot of Lemax Spooky Town buildings, or Department 56 for that matter. Normally, they're kind of designed to be, face forward, and that's kind of what the main look of the building and everything. It kind of is most dramatic from that angle. But here, definitely to the side is where, where I think it looks best. So here it is lit up at this angle. You can see what I mean, guys. It just looks great here, nice and dramatic. And really quick here, just to show you the comparison, this is what it looks like from the front. I still think it looks really good, but you're missing a lot of the dramatics of that skull, right? So let's talk about the lighting, guys. It's a wonderfully lit piece. First off, you have the water, which that resinous material, that kind of plasticky resin, it is translucent somewhat, so there are lights underneath it, so it lights up the water. It looks great. I love the effect on it. It's not overbearing, but there's enough of it there to where the water looks lit up. I absolutely love it. And of course, above the skull there, on the skull, you have his eyes that have LEDs, and I really like the flame effect that is like basically it's on the back of his head. It's like a mohawk, if a mohawk was, wasn't facing, towards you, if it was in the back of the head and it was horizontal. So I love how the skull looks here. It reminds me of Skull Cape Quarry. This piece would go with the newer Skull Cape Quarry if you wanted to make a big, like river, a river theme about it. So outside of a mention at the beginning, I haven't really even talked about the theme of the building here. This is a whitewater ride. I love whitewater rides, and I'm a roller coaster junkie, and I actually think whitewater rides are scarier than roller coasters. And what I mean by that, not actually like the physical distance or something bad's going to happen to me. A roller coaster can do that, but what I mean by that is if you've ever been on a whitewater ride at an amusement park, the thing with them, they're the ultimate crapshoot, because you could walk off the ride totally dry. Maybe get a couple drops of water on you or some very minor, splashing. Or you could come off the ride completely drenched to where if you don't dry off and if you have shoes and socks on it, pretty much you almost got to get new socks or you're going to be, have soggy socks all day. But to me, you never know what you're going to get. And so I get anxious before riding these a lot of times because I don't know if I'm going to get drenched or not. And it's a lot of fun in that. And of course, whenever I go on a whitewater ride, normally it's very hot outside, and the water's always dirty, so the dirty water never felt better. But I think that this ride here, that Lemax really captures the whitewater vibe, in a very a tight package here, because those rides are big and sprawling, and it would be fun to have this as kind of the centerpiece, and to as I mentioned with like Skull Cape Quarry, carve a big have a big scene involving this with like some resin and some other things. So the boats here are pretty cool. They're small versions of the rafts. They actually, size wise, they almost look more like bumper boats. But they are replicating the big rafts that you would find on those rides. A lot of times those rides, gosh, I don't even know how many of those things seat, 6 to 10 people, I think. I could be wrong on that, but they seat a bunch of people. And this is a more realistic ride. I should have said that too. The figures that are on this here, these are actually, they're like people in costume. And let me tell you, I cannot think of a worse place to be in a costume than on a whitewater ride in an amusement park. That would be terrible to have, be drenched in your costume, especially there's someone here who's dressed up like a mummy. That would be awful. I'm going to try and edit in a picture here. If there's a picture, that's because I found it. If not, it's because I couldn't find it. But in my archive somewhere, I think I've got from the picture from the first time I ever saw Lemax Spooky Town huge display at a local pumpkin patch. Those of you who have been longtime viewers, you have heard me talk about this display before, but I have pictures of it from, I believe, 2014. And this piece was in it. And, right away I was like, oh, wow, that is so cool. So this one has nostalgia for me, even though I've never owned it, actually. I'm so thankful that Kelly, loaned this to me so I could review it. This is a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite Lemax Spooky Town Carnival rides, of all time. I love the craggy facade that's around the outside. I love the big skull up there on top. One last thing I should mention, though, about those skull eyes, they're not that bright. I feel like if this piece came out now, the LEDs would be a lot brighter and probably fill up the eye sockets more. Some of you will probably understand what I'm talking about. Maybe I sound crazy to others, but yeah, the theming on this is wonderful. I think it's an excellent ride. All right, guys, before I show it with the soundtrack here, quick note on the soundtrack. It's okay. It's a decent enough for the time Lemax Spooky Town, carnival / amusement ride soundtrack. Nothing really special there, but it's one of the decent ones, I think, as well. So yeah, I love this building, guys. I love the theming here. I love whitewater rides, so of course I'm going to love this one, but I think this is also very, very well executed. I think Lemax did an excellent job, and I would love to know what you think. It's been a long time, I think, since a whitewater ride has released. I don't have a list in front of me here, so going off the top of my head, I actually can't think of another water ride, because Octo Squeeze was water themed, but that wasn't supposed to actually have people like in the water. I can't think of a flume or something like that off the top of my head. So anyways, put in the comments if there is one. I'm just, of course, whenever I'm doing this kind of off the cuff without a script or anything in front of me, I tend to forget. So let me know or remind me. Yeah, guys, love this building. I want to thank you so much to Kelly for loaning me some classic Spooky Town buildings to cover on the channel that I never have. And as a teaser for the next one that I'm going to be doing, we're going to make a deposit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. And here it is with the lights and sound.